1565, one of the richest cities on Earth simply stopped existing. Not over decades, not over years. In a single day, on a dusty battlefield in southern India, an empire of gold, temples, and 500,000 people began to die. By the time the sun set, his fate was already sealed. This is the story of Vijayanagara, the empire the world forgot. To understand how far this empire fell, you first have to understand how high it once stood. In the 1500s, Vijayanagara was not just a city, it was a legend. Portuguese travelers who visited described it as larger than Rome. Streets lined with merchants selling diamonds by the handful. Markets where horses from Arabia and silk from China changed hands every single day. At its peak, the empire controlled almost the entire southern half of India. Its capital alone held an estimated 500,000 people. That made it one of the largest cities on the planet, at a time when London held barely 50,000. The wealth was staggering. Temples were covered in gold leaf. Kings wore ropes of pearls so heavy, they needed servants just to help them stand. This was a civilization built on trade, faith, and military power. A Hindu empire, standing as the last great bastion of its kind, in a region increasingly surrounded by powerful new forces. And that is where the trouble began. To the north of Vijayanagara lay a very different world. 5 Muslim sultanates known as the Deccan Sultanates: Bijapur, Ahmadnagar, Golconda, Bidar, Berar. For decades, these kingdoms fought each other as often as they fought Vijayanagara. Shifting alliances, broken treaties, constant war. But Vijayanagara, under a powerful and aging regent named Aliya Ramaraya, had learned to exploit that chaos. Ramaraya was brilliant and ruthless. He played the sultanates against one another. He formed alliances with one kingdom to crush another. And when it suited him, he broke those alliances without hesitation. For years, this strategy worked. Vijayanagara grew stronger, while its northern rivals bled each other dry. But there is an old truth in history. When you humiliate too many enemies at the same time, eventually they stop fighting each other, and they start planning to destroy you instead. Before we continue into the battle that ended an empire, if you're enjoying this story, take 2 seconds to hit subscribe here on Elder Empires. It genuinely helps this channel grow. And if you have a moment, leave an honest comment below. Tell me what you think of the story so far, or which lost civilization you want me to cover next. I read every single one, and it truly helps me keep making these. All right, let's get back to it, because everything is about to fall apart. By the early 1560s, Ramaraya had insulted, betrayed, or defeated nearly every sultan in the Deccan. His forces had sacked mosques. His soldiers had reportedly desecrated sacred sites during campaigns. Whatever the exact truth of each account, one thing was clear: he had made himself the common enemy, and so, in an almost unprecedented move, the 5 rival sultanates set aside centuries of conflict between themselves. They formed a single, unified alliance. One purpose, one target: Vijayanagara. In December of 1564, their combined armies began marching south. Estimates vary widely, but many accounts describe a coalition force of well over 100,000 soldiers, cavalry, war elephants, and critically, something Vijayanagara lacked in equal measure: modern artillery. Heavy cannons purchased and refined through Ottoman and Persian military connections. Ramaraya, now in his 70s, was confident. His own army was massive. By some estimates, even larger than the Sultanate's combined force. He marched out to meet them near a small village called Talikota, on the banks of the Krishna River. He believed this would be another decisive victory, one more humiliation for his enemies to remember. He had no idea it would be his last battle. On January 23rd, 1565, the two armies met on the plains near Talikota. For hours, the battle seemed to favor Vijayanagara. Their sheer numbers pushed the Sultanate forces backward. Then everything changed. According to several historical accounts, two commanders within Ramaraya's own army, Muslim generals who had been serving Vijayanagara, defected in the middle of the battle. They switched sides, taking their forces with them. The impact was immediate and catastrophic. Ramaraya's flank collapsed. In the chaos, the elderly regent himself was reportedly captured on the battlefield. What happened next was brutal and swift. He was executed on the spot, and by several accounts, his head was raised on a spear for his own soldiers to see. For an army built around loyalty to a single powerful leader, the effect was instant panic. Vijayanagara's massive force simply broke. Soldiers fled in every direction. An army that had marched out that morning as one of the largest in the world ceased to exist as a fighting force by nightfall. The battle itself had lasted less than a single day. But what followed would take far longer to recover from. In truth, it never would. With no army left to defend it, the capital city lay completely exposed. The victorious Sultanate forces marched on Vijayanagara itself. And what followed has been described by later chroniclers as one of the most thorough destructions of a major city in history. For months, the city was looted, burned, and systematically dismantled. Temples that had stood for centuries were stripped of their gold and reduced to ruins. The population that had once numbered 500,000 scattered or vanished entirely. The city that Portuguese travelers had once compared to Rome was reduced to empty stone. It was never rebuilt. To this day, the ruins still stand in what is now the village of Hampi in southern India, a UNESCO World Heritage Site and a haunting reminder of just how quickly absolute power can collapse. One battle, one single day of fighting. That is all it took to end an empire that had taken over 2 centuries to build. Vijayanagara reminds us of something history repeats again and again. No empire, no matter how wealthy or powerful, is guaranteed to survive its own choices. If this story moved you, make sure you're subscribed to Elder Empires so you don't miss what's coming next. Because next time, we go back even further, thousands of years before Vijayanagara, before the pyramids, before writing itself existed. We're heading to a hillside in modern-day Turkey where researchers discovered something that shouldn't exist. The civilization that vanished, Göbekli Tepe, 8,000 BC, history's darkest secret. I'll see you there.